so long. I remember
You get a sandwich. You use the bathroom.
Ooh, I know. I remember the hilarious, and it made the crashes so bad. Because if one of us crashed, then the other person had to sit there and wait for the person to get back in the game. And it crashed all the time because every time they put out a dang hot fix, it crashed the game, remember? Your weapons would stop doing damage. You'd get kicked out of the takedown.
You booted, yeah.
Yeah, the new system was a very big upgrade for Borderlands 3. It's too bad they never made a game after Borderlands 3, you know? Wonder when they're going to make another game.
I don't know.
Yeah, it'd be nice if they made something, man, you know? They never made another Tales game, anything. I don't know, man. We'll wait. They'll eventually come out with something.
Yeah. See, and you say this crap, but when I mentioned that Doctor Who was no longer on air...
Look, somebody's got to bite the bullet for Doctor Who.
You act like, oh, but you can pretend that there is another Borderlands, but I can't pretend that there's no more Doctor Who.
What? They made more Doctor Who?
All right. Let's get started. Welcome to Dicejunkies, guys. I'm Xenodamus. I'm here with
Q.
And on Skype,
we got Bloodaxe.
All right, let's get started. Oh, man. This has been a rocky, long road with Microsoft and this whole acquisition Blizzard thing.
Now I want ice cream.
But it does continue, and the latest. Well, the good news is UK regulators grant preliminary approval to Microsoft Activation Blizzard acquisition. So UK is starting to give some ground. So if you're looking for that, which I mean, honestly, Blizzard may not be worth as much as they promised after the whole Diablo 4 thing.
But you think they might be doing it because they said, oh, okay, they're not getting a good deal. They're paying way too much. Trash fire. Yeah, that's good to hear that the UK is finally starting to chill because apparently Starfield did really well in the UK. So it is a bigger market. I wanted to do that. You know, Q can admit when he was getting ahead of himself. I can. So Starfield sold really well. Apparently it was selling a lot of Xboxes.
Yeah,
Xbox
we talked about it on last week's show.
Yeah,
about
that's why I'm bringing it up.
Yeah.
So I wasn't here, so I was going to say, hey, the UK is buying Xboxes. Was that one of them? I wasn't here. I don't know. Anyway.
It was the one before that you weren't here, but you were here when we talked about the Xbox being sold in the UK.
So, okay, either way, key part is, shut up. Anyway, the key part is that I'm willing to say, hey, if the UK is willing to buy Xboxes and they are a good market, then it's best not to ditch them.
Yeah.
I can do that. I'm an adult. Like they say, I can go, okay, yeah, then the UK is a good market. Now, they still need to act right. But, honestly, I'm not even kind of joking. They may be approving it because they looked at Blizzard and said, you can have that trash fire.
Now, just like with the Google, Apple lawsuits and all that, another thing that happens with these lawsuits is things get leaked. And recently, a lot of the Microsoft emails have come out, and people have been going over them going, oh, my God, and panicking and trying to start a conversation. I will say, there was some interesting stuff. Now, once again, I work in the industry, the software industry, and I can tell you, being involved in these companies, acquisitions, stuff like that, yeah, man, all kinds of ideas get sent around in emails, and 95% of them never see any kind of traction. So, but one of the things is Microsoft might consider leaving the game market if Game Pass didn't succeed. There was ideas of buying Nintendo, Valve, Warner Brothers, you know, and so people are looking at these emails going, oh, look what Microsoft was planning. Yeah, you know what? If I was a game company, you mentioned this too. If you were a game company and you were like,
we're gonna
who should we buy?
More.
You throw out the big names like, man, what if we could get Nintendo? Holy shit, you know.
I mean, being completely honest, after hearing this, I'm like, how the hell did y'all buy these other guys? Like, screw EA or Activision or whatever, man. I want you to get Nintendo. Before you trip out, the only reason why, and this is going to be an interesting debate because we're debating this over Valve and Steam, so we'll roll into that. Well, we need to let Bloodaxe get his comment in too, but yeah. I would love to see them buy Nintendo because
No.
I want to see a high end of some of these games, dude. I like Zelda. I'd like to see Samus. I'd like to see Metroid and Zelda in a new generation.
I would love
next gen.
I would love to see Nintendo
go next gen.
Go next gen, but at the same time, I would not want Microsoft to have their hands in Nintendo. Similar to Valve. I wouldn't want, I'm glad they got their hands into Blizzard, but that was because Blizzard was fucking up.
Dude, Microsoft has not been heavy-handed with any company they bought. To the point that they
I hope they're heavy-handed with Blizzard.
Well, that they need to be heavy. I mean, look at Redfall. They were so hands-off that Redfall was a train wreck. And they literally said, we should have been hands-on with Redfall. Like, they were so hands-off that the game just fell apart.
I hope they don't make that mistake with Fable. I hope they go, maybe we should look in on these guys.
Fable's already getting a really bad rep for that weird monkey face they put on that main character, man. That is looking like, oof.
Anyway. So I mean, anyway, I wouldn't want Nintendo would be overstepping to me, man. Same with Valve. Valve would be overstepping. I like my Steam library. I like the way it sort of just sits there. Nobody touches it. Nobody messes with it. There's no real crazy system. Microsoft Game Pass, as much as I love the Game Pass, the games are a little weird on Game Pass, man.
The PC games are really odd
because Game Pass does, even on the PC, sort of translates more towards the Xbox and less towards PC. On some of the customizability, stuff like that. They, and I get it. They're doing the whole, we want this stuff to just work, so they don't allow you to tweak stuff as much as you normally get on PC. Because they're doing here's our store, you install it, it works, we're done,
But not everybody wants to get all off into their game like that. I get it.
Steam has the big workshop. I can customize stuff. I can tweak stuff. It's very modder friendly. And Microsoft isn't very modder friendly.
Look, man.
Now, they own Bethesda, so they should learn to be fucking modder friendly.
They really should. Because everybody knows you get Bethesda games on PC if you can. You only get them on console because you can't get it on PC because, we've already fixed the UI. We've already went in and modded the UI. We're like, this UI sucks.
Yeah, I modded my health bar, too. I did end up grabbing that one.
You weakling.
I know. Look, I had a ability that said you need to drop down to 25% health and then heal all the way back, 15 times or whatever. Now, if you notice, when you go in the red, and right now, it is not necessarily 25%. You got to guess, am I far enough into the red? But when it's blocked into the 4 segments, then I know when I'm in the red, I'm at 25%. And so I just went ahead and I got the quadrant health bar, and it's not anything. It's a pure UI.
Dude, on my second playthrough, I went ahead and leveled my character up.
You cheese.
Hey, it's my second playthrough.
You didn't finish your first playthrough.
You don't finish Bethesda games. Who finishes a Bethesda game? When I played
honestly, Starfield is like the first Bethesda game I've ever finished.
I've played thousands of hours of Skyrim. I've only beaten Alduin 4 times. Now, I have become the king of the vampires, Lord Vampire Hunter, and whooped the first Dragonborn a bunch of times. I've won the war. I've been the head of the dang Wizards Guild probably 100 times.
Yeah.
I've bothered to kill Alduin 4.
Yeah, I think I did it once.
Because everybody knows the main story isn't where it's at. Heck, I don't know if I ever beat Fallout New Vegas, and I played it more than any game. I've done a lot in Fallout New Vegas. I played all the DLC through. I will say
Fallout 4 I beat several times.
Fallout 4 is because Fallout 4 you can keep playing. In my defense, Fallout New Vegas, the game ends. Actually ends. So Fallout New Vegas is too fun to end the game, so I never beat it. I get all the way up to the end and be like, but I'm having fun. And then I would be. But no, the ability to do that, I spent a huge amount of time getting up to level 80. And when I started my new game, I looked at the XP bar and I said, I'm not spending all that time hunting on
What
these high
level?
level.
What level did you go to?
Same level I was when I restarted, 80, motherfucker. I earned my 80 the first time. I ain't going through it again.
Oh, yeah. I'm at like level.
In my defense, you know how much time I spent leveling.
I know.
I spent days on high level planets hunting the aliens like a maniac.
You lost achievements though when you.
I know I got to do it. I know. Then I got the. You see my mod list. I got the one that keeps the achievements.
Does it keep the achievements for the cheats though?
It doesn't stop.
I didn't think it did for
Oh
console.
no! It stops you from losing your achievements for console. Okay, wait, we're getting into too much game. Anyway, though, hey, Bloodaxe, what do you think of this stuff with Xbox?
Well, I've been chatting with Flynn and with Mike.
I noticed the chat board over there.
If you want my honest opinion, I don't like the idea of them going after Nintendo or Valve or anything like that, because I like to have competition in the market. Now, picking up game publishers, game developers, that's a different story, in my opinion. The thing with Nintendo is they've been so tight with the quality of their games. It takes them a decade to break out a Zelda game. It takes them 15 years to release a Metroid game because they want to have a certain level of quality. I mean, they've rewritten the new Metroid Prime game, I think, twice now, because they didn't care for the way the story was progressing with the one studio, so they scrapped and started over again.
Yeah, but I mean, they've put out more Zelda games than Bethesda's put out Elder Scrolls. So.
Yeah, but I don't play Zelda games, so I've been not since the old Nintendo anyway. I don't know. I played the Ocarina of Time. I think it was the last one that I played, but.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, no, it's been a minute.
My point being, they're slow, but they're slower out there. Bethesda.
Sorry, work.
No, I'm just sitting here going like, I'm worried about getting the arthritis before Elder Scrolls 6 comes out, man. It's like, come on, get this game out. But Bethesda's the only company that threatens of you dying before you get the next installment. Like, they take so long, you're literally going like, I'm going to be 50 when this comes out. That's freaky to look up and be like, I'm going to be an old man. I'm going to be a friggin' old man by the time Bethesda takes so long. They got to hope the console they made it for still exists by the time they get the game done.
I mean, there was the one where they had to do the dual console because by the time it came out,
the games take longer than whole new systems being made takes. Yes,
but yeah. Anyway, let's move on to Diablo 4.
Nintendo could use a bigger market.
Yeah, no, I think Nintendo could use a bigger market, but at the same time, I just don't. I mean, Nintendo has been a niche for a long time. And I'm afraid if somebody got in there, they'd break the niche, and it's one of those things where I don't trust anybody to do what Nintendo does.
Okay, but
they're such a unique, existence.
But I'm going to hit you with something that's going to make you have a hard time staying in your position. Do we always believe that one person is innocent till proven guilty? So far, they've not screwed up in any companies or gotten very hands-on yet. You're judging they're going to do something without an example of them doing it with the new acquisitions. I don't know about older stuff, but so far, Microsoft /
Well,
Xbox
if they're not going to change
up.
anything, then what's the point of you wanting them to be bought by them then?
Oh, let me change things. I mean, change going in there and messing with the games. Like, I would like to see some of these games playable on Xbox and whatever the heck half-ass system.
All right, so you want them to change stuff, but you don't want them to change stuff.
You know the change we're talking about.
No, I get what you're saying. I'm just saying you can't have your cake and eat it too. One or the other's got to give. You either leave the fucking company alone or you let it just be.
All I want to do is see the games reach. I want to see the console exclusivity reduced and having those games available on multiple systems.
I don't think Microsoft buying them or anybody buying them is a way to get past that, though.
Nintendo is never going to put
I think it's the worst way to try to get past that.
Nintendo will never put their games out on another system unless somebody buys them. They are very adamant. Now, I get what you're saying, though. For Nintendo specifically, not so much Valve, but Nintendo, I will say that they have a very, very particular way of operating, they're the most likely to get screwed up. You are right. Out of all those companies they mentioned, Nintendo's the most likely to get screwed up if they got bought. I don't think so much Valve. As long as they don't screw with the Steam library, if they bought Valve, it'd be fine. And honestly, they need to because Sony's already in bed with Epic. So I think Valve needs the backup, honestly. I'd like to see Valve get that backup.
I would love to see Microsoft work with Steam. I don't want to buy up Steam.
Okay, then even just getting, like you said, a proper partnership.
Do a proper partnership.
We'll meet in the middle, a partnership.
I'm fine with that.
Okay, we found it. We're in the middle. What do you think, Bloodaxe? I forgot. You don't care about Steam.
That way you can go, look, our game's on Steam. Fuck you, Epic.
Well, you are outnumbered because I know my boy Bloodaxe backs me up. Bloodaxe would love to get all his Nintendo games on his Xbox. I know he would. Get the place.
I didn't say I wouldn't play it. I just said I prefer the competition.
If it was a competition,
I mean,
but it ain't really.
Yeah, because I mean, when it comes to Nintendo games, I get Mario Kart, I get Metroid and stuff, and Smash and things that we can play as a family. But my competitive games, my looter shooters, are all going on the Xbox.
Well, yeah, but that's not going to change. Just, I mean, they're already there. They're not exclusive to Nintendo. Those types of games,
right? And the only thing exclusive to Nintendo is family fun.
Yeah.
Well, no, Metroid is a single player game. Zelda is a single player game.
And that one I wish I could have played on the Xbox because I like the controller better than the one on the Switch.
Don't forget the new graphics you would have got. You could have got a lot higher tier graphics.
Yeah, because in order to get everything, you had to do some really weird shit. So I wasn't able to get all the upgrades and stuff because you had to do some weird bouncing off the walls with power boosts and spinny balls, and I was like, I'm not that into this game, so you guys can have it. But it was a fun game. Even though it was a 2D side scroller, I keep waiting for Prime, which would be another first person shooter.
Dude, Prime's gonna be tempting.
I mean, let's be honest though, too, man. I mean, the game, the Pro controller for Nintendo is almost an Xbox controller.
Right, but the button configuration is turned counterclockwise.
It is turned, yes.
One dial, and it fucks me up. So it
is annoying the turn there because I've messed up that AB combination so many times.
Yeah.
Yep.
The way they do it is probably BA instead of AB. But no, well, like I said, I get the concerns. Nintendo would be a touchy one, but there's some franchises I would like to see, like you said. No, for regular Metroid and Mario, it's fine. But I would love to see a Metroid Prime that was on par with Doom.
I'll be honest.
What I'm saying? And those games on graphics.
I think Activision Blizzard should be the last acquisition and purchase that Microsoft does for a long time.
Well, yeah, because after how bad this is going to go, because we could just roll into what Blizzard's like right now.
Well, it's not just that, dude. I mean, honestly, I think it's time for Microsoft to look at all their acquisitions, look at what they have, look in their basket, put that shit together, and actually make sure it all works.
True.
I mean, they need to settle down on the purchasing.
Because they got a couple of bombs, man. They actually need to make sure these guys are making good games. Because like we just mentioned, several games in a row didn't do too hot. So they need some of these exclusive games to do better.
But yes, you are correct. So Diablo 4 loses loyal content creators amid content drought. Basically, Diablo 4 is bombing right now. Nobody, I can't say nobody's playing it, but a lot of people are bored of the game. The content creators are dropping it left and right. People are saying that the people that are playing it are saying they don't see other people when they go to boss battles.
World boss.
Like world bosses, stuff like that, where you have to have multiple people join in with you. I'll be honest, I have not looked back at Diablo 4 after that one patch that everybody hated.
Season 1 was a failure by far. We didn't even get a full week into season 1 before we were like, okay.
Yeah.
And that's bad, man.
And they haven't done anything to really draw me back in.
And I want you to know, I don't know about my boy, but I think you do too. We check every patch. I go back, I look at the patch, I go, nothing of consequence. In fact, you know what I wanted to rant about is I want to know what the heck is wrong with Blizzard and this 1-2% crap, you're going to put out a patch and go like, we're going to put out some buffs. Oh, cool. What's the buff? 2% more damage. I'm not going to load the game up for 2%. And I was shocked that, like I said, to me, a game is dead when you get to the point where you have world bosses that require a group of people, and you can't get enough people together to do it anymore.
Flynn says, world bosses still exist. I couldn't find one after the beta was over. That is partially because instead of world bosses being truly random, like you would think, like they first explained it, they're on a timer. They show up at specific times.
And not good times.
So unless you play during those specific times where the world boss shows up, now there are several websites that keep up with the time.
Are there? Are they still doing it anymore?
I don't know if they're still doing it
anymore. They didn't think about that. Are they still bothered to do it?
But yeah. No, it was, they took a lot of wrong turns with Diablo 4, man. And now I will say, once again, I felt the same way about Diablo 3 when it first came out. They took a lot of wrong turns. I felt like they were very much, they were much quicker to jump on and start fixing Diablo 3 to me. Where Diablo 4, it feels to me like they're stuck in their own head so much that they don't want to listen. Diablo 3 listened. When people started jumping out, they started trying to come up with solutions pretty quick. Diablo 4 does not seem to have that. They seem to be argumentative with the players. They try to prove that they're right all the time instead of going, well, maybe we can look into this more. Even just giving a little bit of a ground, they seem to be aggressive towards their strategy, regardless of the outcome.
Yeah, like I was saying, sorry to interrupt you, man. But it came to me all of a sudden. I remember I heard the fireside chats have not gone well. The little meetings they've had, because they have a very aggressive stance towards the customer base. And here's the thing. Like I always used to say, this is where the whole Sony conflict between me and them happened. And that is, you can never win an argument with your customer base 9 out of 10 times. Let's be fair. I shouldn't say never. You can rarely win it. And the reason why is because ultimately your customers, they have a choice to give you money. They do. And honestly, being right doesn't mean you're going to still get their money. That's the thing you need to realize. Doesn't mean if you go, well, no, this is actually balanced. Well, guess what? It doesn't matter if it's balanced. It's a matter if it feels balanced. Because while there are people like me and Bloodaxe and Xeno who are very objective because we work in tech industries, and we'll go, okay, they're right mechanically. 9 out of 10 times a person wants to have fun. And if they feel it doesn't work, then they're going to have a problem. And that's why this attitude is bad. And plus, on top of that, that ain't what they're doing. They're just a bunch of cocky assholes. So on top of that, they're not right. Let me say that. But even if you are right, you need to go, but people aren't having fun.
Well,
yeah, mechanically, we're technically right.
I mean, the gaming industry, the gaming industry in itself is
entertainment.
A gaming industry. It's entertainment. It's all about having fun. And honestly, they're not delivering. And that's pretty much the end of the story, really. Let's move on to something that looks like it could be fun. Obviously, we don't know yet because it is still early.
At least it's gameplay.
There's been gameplay released for Dragon's Dogma 2. This actually looks really, really interesting. I will say this
because it's Dragon's Dogma 1, but I like Dragon's Dogma 1.
Yeah, the system, the pawns are back. Vocations, all that. It doesn't seem that much different.
It looks like almost an add-on for Dragon's Dogma, but Dragon's Dogma 1 was fun, so I like it.
And then they added furries.
There's cat people now, yes. For Bethal, there's a new nation of Beastren, and they are cat people, so you can play as Lion-O. Oh my God, they did that to play Lion-O, didn't they? Ooh, I'm gonna play Panthro. Well, no, I don't think you can play as one. I think you play a human. Regardless.
No, it looked like they were playing. There was people.
You saw a player?
It looked like people were playing.
You could probably make a Panthro, but I don't know if you can. Oh God, someone's gonna make Chitara. That's gonna be. I might have her.
I think as much as I'm not into playing beast characters very often. It's not my preferred. I would say they would be dropping a ball if they didn't allow it. Like if for some reason they
can't play as one.
Yeah.
So you're telling me
if you put it in the world.
So hold on. So you're telling me that I can make Panthro, and then if other people make Lion-O and Chitara or Tigra, I can go get them, and I can play almost all of the. No, you get 3 pods. I can play everyone. Oh crap! Thundercats.
I'm not saying. I don't know. You said you think
Chitara,
you may have
Lion-O,
to
because everybody hates the kids. Boom. We can play the Thundercats. All right, I want to play Thundercats.
Yeah, I mean
now.
it says characters. It shows.
I'm playing the Thundercats. I'm doing it. Y'all want to watch my Thundercats playthrough? Yeah, baby, we're gonna do Thundercats. Dang it, they don't have a nunchucker or a whip. Dang it, it's gonna be hard to get the weapon right. Now, if you can make you used to couldn't do advanced class of your pawn, but you can give the magic spearman to Chitara. That's like a staff. 2-handed sword for Lion-O. But man, you don't have a whip or nunchucks, at least that we know of. They do have new classes.
Yeah, I haven't shown all the classes yet, so.
There was a lightning whip spell, so they may just give him the lightning whip spell on the pawn. Make that his primary spell. Oh, sorry, we went down a rabbit hole. Or is it a cat den? I don't know. Litter box. But anyway, the new game looks fun, and it met one of the Dicejunkies minimums, which is we don't want to see trailers. We want to see
they actually threw
gameplay.
Gameplay in it, yeah.
And they say this time you'll actually be able to change your dang vocation at will. It's like they know what pissed us off before. At least me. I played the game recently
Well, they
enough.
have fast travel, so even if you have to go talk to somebody.
Yeah, they got the ox carts. Because I played Dragon's Dogma within the last few years because I reloaded it. I have the Dark Arisen or whatever, the Dark Story. And I played it recently, and it is one of the biggest issues is that the fast travel system was irritating. You had these temporary items. It was a headache. You can drop where you want.
Yeah,
now they have a
It
straight...
shows the starting vocations.
Yeah, you're right.
One of those people is a...
cat mage.
Cat.
Cat Beastrin.
So.
Beastrin. Copyright-friendly Beastrin. Not a Khajiit. Totally not a Khajiit. It's the Khajiit.
Yeah, here they're showing both. So, yeah, you can definitely play as either.
It's totally from the freaking desert area, man. This is the Khajiit.
Oh.
Did you see it? You saw it was a desert, man.
I know. I saw.
All right. I just thought about that. That is something. It's like, wait, where are they from?
Yeah,
Ooh.
see, that one's...
If they add a martial arts class and I can play a martial arts Beastrin, they owe somebody some money. But but no, it looks fun. Did you play Dragon's Dogma Bloodaxe?
No, that's
I can play
one
Xeno again. So.
Amazing. You didn't play Dragon's Dogma, man? It's a fun game.
Oh, I believe you. It's just one of those ones I never picked up.
Oh,
I will say, I picked it up late. It was not a it was not a success when it was released. If you remember, when it was released, it bombed. And it was another one of those games where they had to work on it for a while before people started picking it up. And even then, I think it was the Dark Arisen that it really...
Truly, Dark Arisen did give it a lot of... Me and Flynn played it. I know Flynn also got it. We liked it from the beginning. But I will say that its story makes Dark Souls story look like they make sense. It has one of the most unfathomably weird stories in a game I played. It's out there, man. Like, it was a weird story before Dark Arisen. Dark Arisen made more sense. But it's a very oddball story, and I think a lot of people just couldn't wrap their head around it. Hopefully the TV show on Netflix helped clear that up. I've never seen it. I might go check it out now, because I bet you this is going to be more in common with that, because I heard it did pretty good. And hopefully they polished it up, because if you played Dragon's Dogma when it first came out and thought the story was going to make sense, it did not. To me, and I watch anime and all that, and even I was just like, what? And some of the endings were even stranger. But for gameplay, if you ignored the story and just had fun, very fun game. And Dark Arisen really added that polished coat. Now, the fact that they started this trailer off, though, by saying, we got fast travel, you can change your dang job whenever you want. That means they were paying attention.
I did not hear him say that. You keep saying that.
You the one that told me to
I told you I misspoke. I said, I know you can change it.
Oh, okay. Stop being wrong.
I keep trying to correct you because you keep saying incorrect information that we do not know.
Well, they got the fast travel. They got the ox carts.
But
you can travel by ox cart. And theoretically, you could change your classes easier, in theory, hopefully, than before. Because a big issue for people that played it was that changing your class was a trial. It was a bit frustrating to do until late game. And here's the reason why it was an issue for the big gamers out there. Your stats you got for leveling up were based on your class. So you literally took a hit if you didn't go to your advanced class quick enough. Y'all know what I'm talking about. For example, when you went to the higher level warrior class, you got a bigger strength bonus.
This is the same way. As you progress in the adventure, you will gain access to additional vocations. So there is. I am curious how the XP thing will go again.
So I may have to race to get to the higher level mage class so I don't lose intelligence each level. Because as a person who grinds a lot, that's frustrating. Because I'm that guy that'll stay in the starting area and grind. I mean, when we get around Eliza P, I'm already level 50, man. Like, I grind levels. And I was very frustrated the first time I realized that I had lowered my stats by leveling my base class too much instead of going to an advanced class. That irritated me a lot, and it caused me to start over.
Yeah, definitely one I prefer where when you go to an advanced class, just restart your leveling process. It carries over how, some of the stuff from your previous leveled classes, and then...
Because it was a big difference to how strong your magic was if you went and got the advanced class sooner or later, because it went up significantly. It's the difference between getting 3 intelligence and like 5 or 6, I think, something around there, intelligence to level up, which after 30 levels is a significant point difference. And I remember having to not level my character, like run from fights, to try not to keep leveling to get to it.
Of course, you'll be able to change your vocation at any time by visiting vocation guilds. You still got to visit vocation guilds.
But you usually wanted to go to your advanced class at the minimum required level to get to it, which was difficult in the first game because it was like a lot of story elements needed to get to the main town. You were literally story blocked from getting to the place that had the advanced classes. I remember this. Me when it comes to game, and I know all the min-max, all the leveling.
I mean, if they do it right, what they should do is they should have it where, let's say I want to unlock the Spear Mystic. I should do the mage vocation and another vocation, and then it just unlock.
But you should be able to get to where you can get that, where you can change that class.
And so once I've changed my classes, gotten some basically education in these other fields, I should see other things unlocked. That's the proper way. If I was to do a game, that's how I prefer those advanced classes to be unlocked, is usually by advancing in multiple other classes and then sort of
that's
taking
fine.
that.
As long, because that was kind of work. It's just
but
I
they
want to
don't really
access.
explain in this how that's going to happen.
Well, that's what I was saying. One of the best things Elden Ring did is that, barring a rare few things, it was an open world game. It was an open world game. So Dragon's Dogma 1 was not open world like that. You were story locked out of locations at first. Once you got to a certain point, the whole map opened up. But you were story locked. And unfortunately, the location to get your advanced classes was a story locked location. Thus, you had to push the story to get forward in order to get to your advanced classes, which affected you depending on how long you took to get there. It's a real thing. It affected you based on because like I said, it affected the stats you got when you leveled. Yeah. Hopefully, they're going to fix that. And if the vocational guild's over here, I can walk there from game start. That's all I'm hoping for. And I know there's a little tick, but I mean, hey, you're gamers. You come to us because we're gamers.
I'm hoping for a lot of things. So.
I'm hoping for more classes, a couple more classes, too. I want blood magic. Since y'all don't give a crap about stealing, let's hit up Dragons, the other dragon game, Dragon Age. Get me some blood magic. I want blood magic or necromancy.
All right. That's enough on Dragon's Dogma. Let's move on.
Diablo failed me, though.
Let's move on.
But they don't have necromancy in Cyberpunk.
Yeah, let's move on. Cyberpunk 2077 Update 2.0 is so big that the devs advise starting a new playthrough. Basically, this is some of the stuff we had talked about in the past with them redoing the entire skill trees. Apparently, the system is actually really cool from what I've seen. So now your stats and your skill tree are sort of separate, and you actually can increase your stats by doing different types of. So, like if you do headshots, stuff like that, you'll grow in this one area, and then you have your skill tree. So, anyway, very different game from what it sounds like.
Man, it'd be a really good idea if you were at the beginning of the game, man. When you played it,
I get 2 games out of 1 though by playing it.
Yeah, 1 bad and 1 good. I'm just gonna get good. Get
No.
good.
It is interesting. They did a big revamp. Apparently, for like console, there's like a 50 gigabyte update for 2.0, where on PC it's slightly smaller with about 25.
But I got that new terabyte hard drive.
So, yeah, this is going to be. I mean, I really actually want to go back to Cyberpunk. I've just got too many things in the fire right now.
Oh, is it already out?
Yeah, no, the 2.0 is
man, I've been
out.
playing Starfield, man.
I know.
Like I've been playing Starfield and Lies of P. Jeez, that's fun though. That's great to know that there's so much waiting that it's like, oh, I'm tired of that. Because I played a lot of Starfield. I might let them do a little bit of modding to it, get a couple more mods out, and go jump on Cyberpunk for a while. That might be a nice little vacation. Sideways.
Yeah. What do you think, Blood? You also are with me in having played the game fully.
Yeah, actually, it's been so long, I forgot how the game played. I just remember the story, and I didn't have any hiccups like Q did. But with it being that different, yeah, you're right. It would be like getting 2 games for the price of 1. And I've been wanting to start over, looking up the right choices to do the super secret special ending. So that gives me a chance to be able to do that, because I haven't been playing Starfield. It's way too much to do, and I had way too much ADHD to leave stuff behind, so I ended up deinstalling it. And Lies of P is not my cup of tea, so I may load it up and give it a shot and see if the differences are more enjoyable than the first time I played through it. But I had a lot of fun playing through it the first time.
Yeah. But yeah, this shows it had a 52 gigabyte for the update to Xbox, 38 gigabyte for the update to PlayStation 5, and 33 gigabyte for PC. This shows, it did do the perk overhaul, which changed how the perks were distributed, as well as your different stats. So, no, man, I'm actually cyberware was redesigned, so completely new vision of cyberware.
I saw a video. So new cyber system, that's the screen there. Yeah, like it's supposed to be pretty cool.
Yeah, revamped the police in the 2.0.
Vehicle combat. There's a bit of
added some vehicle combat, like some vehicles with weapons and some new radio stations for anybody who cares about that. So yeah, no, I mean there's so much new. I will say I do somewhat want to jump in with my current character to see how the update translated.
That's not advised.
I know it's not advised, but that's why I want to see. I'm curious if I take my old character who has like maxed out everything, that could be maxed out. He's at cap level and all that. I'm curious how that would translate over to the new system. Then also a new playthrough.
Yeah, I just wish we could skip all the bite dances. Those were annoying.
Oh God, those things are long as heck. You're not wrong, man. I mean, that's one of the reasons why I would not start over, because I think I've gotten past at least the first few, if I remember. And that's where I stopped my save, is I was like, I think I got those out the way, or at least that first couple, because I was just like, these are slow as heck. It's a cool concept, but it's not a replayable concept. It's like, once you've done it once, you probably don't want to do it again.
Oh man, updated PC requirements, and SSD is now required to run the game. So many people were pissed off at Bethesda Starfield about that, but apparently that is I'll be honest, dude, if you weren't installing your games on an SSD already, you definitely were hurting yourself with gaming, because spindle drives are antique at this point. So
I'm on SSD now, so it ain't my problem anymore. I was, but like I've got a bigger SSD, so and oh wait, I'm gonna have to reinstall Cyberpunk to the SSD. But anyway, whatever. I'll go and get that started.
I thought you had Cyberpunk on Xbox.
No, I got Cyberpunk on PC.
Oh, you got it on PC?
Stupid.
That's right. Yeah, because it has a lot of modding too. So
yeah, you don't get games like that on if you have a choice. No, I got that on PC. But it's not through Steam. I think it's through their store. Yeah, GOG. So I have to go into GOG and tell it to install on the SSD.
Yeah, I don't even have it installed right now. So
I don't think I do either. So I need to go because GOG kept popping up. I think I uninstalled GOG.
Yeah,
because it wouldn't stop starting itself up on its own, and I'm just like, yo, stop.
Steam is the only distributor I keep installed. Like, if I need something from EA, Ubisoft, or something like that, I'll reinstall them when I want to play those games. Steam I leave on because Steam doesn't never bother me.
Yeah. All right.
You know, so anyway. And once again, why I don't want Microsoft fucking with Steam. Oh. Let's see. Let's see. Well, there's been a new 18 minutes of exclusive gameplay to Where Winds Meet. Now, if you missed out the last time we talked about this, where me and Q pretty much geeked out for a really long time, it's one of the previous episodes. But anyway, it is a cultivation type game, and
for the rest of y'all, Woozy, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, style.
But one that is actually allows for custom characters, unlike
custom Asian characters.
Yeah.
So what we've seen, you will need to make an Asian character.
Yeah, unlike Wukong or something like that, where you're pretty much set.
I only bring that up because that's apparently a big deal. You're in China, dang it. You're in ancient China, and from what we can see, it looks like, and it makes sense because in the beginning they show you as a baby.
Yeah.
So, and it's an Asian baby, so yeah, you can't grow up.
Oh, that preset has the scar.
You think that's the same? That could be the scar. That could be the default.
Yeah,
I think that's one of the default faces. Yeah, because in the video they show the baby with looks like a scar right here.
Yeah.
And what it is that you can choose to take it away because true customization lets you do that.
Yeah, there's the default face. So yeah, it does have the scar right there.
I told you that you were the baby. Yeah. I called it. All right, I'll be right back.
All right.
But
anyway, so yeah, this is the game here. Like I said, they did like 18 minutes of play where they show the tutorial for the fighting. They show the character creation, and then just some of the combat and stuff. The horse combat with the archery was awesome looking.
It reminded me of Red Dead, man. That's some fun, and I used to love that in Red Dead.
Where was that?
Way at the beginning. At the beginning. There it is.
Yeah, because it was doing like the slow time when you zoomed and aimed and stuff like that. So I'm really excited about this game. Like I said, this is the one that I'm keeping a close eye on because it just sounds
Show them the trait screen.
exciting.
Show them since they like to talk about Baldur's Gate. Show them all the different stuff when you build your character.
Yeah, they have different traits you can start. It looks like you can start off with.
There are 10 stats.
5 different ones. Now, it says current trait 30 out of 50, so maybe if you have some replayability and the fact that you'll unlock some other traits, maybe.
That'd be cool.
Wow.
So you're saying, it looks like it's going to have replay value because looking at those traits, they were interesting. Things like animals like you have an easy time with horses.
Oh, I know. There it is, 50 out of 50. So maybe different traits have different weights.
Oh my God, it's cultivation for real, Duck. Rhetoric debates.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. This is going to be a fan of martial arts and Wuxia and or Wuzhao, Zhangxia, cultivation, all that. It's going to be friggin' just fanboy like candy. It looks like it's going to be really good. And the sheer number of traits that you can start with, and when they were going through and showing some of them, really made me go like, that seems like that would be a really interesting. We both already said we're going to have Drinker. There's just no way we're not. We already know that. I'm going to start off with that. But some of these traits are just really interesting right off the bat. And have me feeling that the game is going to have a lot to offer. Like, I may have 4 or 5 characters in this game. This may be one of those few games in a long time where I have, like, a bunch of different characters. Just a bunch of very different characters. That's a good thing for a game where you make your own character. is them to give you a reason to do different things. It's also changing the stats. I just realized that. It's also changing the stats as well as giving you some traits. Because you see they're lit up.
Mm-hmm.
So character customization, interesting backgrounds to represent your character you want to play, or represent, oh no, I think it's just maybe you go from left to right. Yeah, no, it's going left to right. The traits are changing. It's showing you which trait screen you're on. See, look, watch the top. Go back a bit. And it'll change to 40.
I guess.
Yeah, it's which tab you're on, I think.
Yeah.
But it's really cool. Or something else happening.
No, those are the same.
It seems to be going back and forth. I don't know then. But either way, character creation looks like it's going to be fun. The action looks good.
I think they may have different weights or something. I don't know. It doesn't. They don't explain that.
Oh, could be how it's affecting your stats.
Yeah.
So the game looks entertaining. It looks really entertaining. It looks like it's going to have that large number of missions and different ways to go about it. Different combat styles, which will make you want to play through the game different ways. Oh, can you make your own pup? Oh, I'm going to have fun with this game. I can make my own pets? Pet build? Okay, so like I said, yeah, you don't see us fanboy as hard before, but this is looking like this is going to be a very, very good game for people that are fans of the genre. And for people who aren't fans of the genre, hopefully they'll do a good job of breaking them into it. Golden Toad Leap. Hey, who liked Kung Fu Hustle? They got the Toad Leap, Kung Fu Hustle. There you go, Kung Fu Hustle. If you've seen Kung Fu Hustle, same concept. So, oh my God, that looks fun. Goat Charge, Animal Styles. So this is my most, it is rare for anything to ever beat out a Wukong game. As much as I am looking forward to Black Myth and definitely going to buy it, this looks like this is Black Myth meets Bethesda. For open world customization, but action RPG of a Black Myth or type game. It looks like everything I've ever wanted out of a video game. And honestly, probably my boy Flynn as well, because we grew up always looking at games like this. We had an idea to make our own game, and it was kind of similar to this concept, a very open world action RPG game with a lot of options. This looks like this is what I've been waiting for. It took a long time to get here, but this may be the game. And if it is, then I ain't playing nothing else. I'll be done. That's just be like, this is my game. This is my first game, my last game. But now some time for some complaining. I'm kidding. Time for a game review.
Liza P. I'll say I haven't gotten far in this one yet. I installed it originally on my PC and played it for a little bit and decided it was best done with a controller. I know, shock all. There are some games that work better with a controller. Melee Souls-likes are one of the ones that do. And so I was like, well, I'm up here in my office all the time, gaming with Starfield, and get some exercise going up and down the stairs. So I'll install it on my Xbox downstairs. So, but yeah, so I enjoyed the little bit I played so far. Q has gotten a lot deeper into it, so I'm going to pass it over to him. What do you think, dude? There's been a lot of ups and downs.
Now, Liza P has a big thing to climb because your boy Q's played a lot of the newer Souls. I've played Wolong, I beat it. It's a grueling experience, but I got through it. Not a bad game, but still, if you're stubborn like me, where you grab a build and don't want to let go, it can be. Wolong was a very bad experience if you were determined to play it your way. I'll just be honest. Great game if you played the way they wanted you to play. Bad game if you played the way I wanted to play. But still an overall good game. I still enjoyed it even though I was stubborn about being a mage. And God, that's not a good idea in that game. But Liza P is a good Souls-like game. I will say that. I'm not saying it's as good as Dark Souls. And it's definitely no Elden Ring. It's going to be blunt. It's not. But then it's not supposed to be. This is Sekiro meets Bloodborne. That is very accurate. The game has beautiful visuals. Actually, I'm enjoying the story, the interactions, and the voice acting. The combat system is not bad. Usually it's pretty good, but the elephant in the room is called artificial difficulty. Now, a lot of souls like suffer from artificial difficulty. Me and Bloodaxe have faced this in games and other games where Wonderlands is really bad about that, where your game's not difficult because it's challenging and it put in elements that require skill to pass. It's difficult at times because you just put in BS situations where, for example, y'all know me, I want to play different. I play advanced. There's 3 stats. Basically, the stats are strength, dex, and magic. I went magic. Well, they created a situation where you only have access to electricity at a certain point in the game because it's early game. Well, guess what? The boss, right after you get your electricity, is resistant to electricity. But there's no way around it. You don't have access to the other elements. You don't have a way around it. And you can't respec. So I put all my points into elemental damage, only had access to electricity, and he's on the screen. That's him. That's the boss. Resistant to electricity. That's kind of messed up. Similarly, you run into an enemy later that has a special move where when he knocks you down, he starts hitting you on the ground. He will kill you every time. You can't survive this 9 times out of 10. I have a really high vigorous vitality stat. He still kills you. The reason why is you need to roll away when he knocks you to the ground. Right? Makes sense, right? Well, guess what? That's something you have to unlock. Ask me the golden question. Guess what? You can't unlock it while you're fighting this guy. You cannot get the materials to do it. You do not get the ability to unlock that until later in the game. But the enemy appears before that. Stuff like that's artificial difficulty. No, you can't. It's quartz. It's limited. It's literally set limit. You cannot unlock the ability to roll away when you've been grounded until almost an entire chapter later than the enemy. So if the enemy knocks you down, he just kills you. Because he just walks up and just goes, you can't roll, you can't roll. That's artificial difficulty. Because the problem isn't in that you're not rolling. The problem is in that you cannot roll. Because the game has put that later in the game. And while, yeah, you can say don't get hit in the first place. Well, yeah, and there's people that play Elden Ring blindfolded. But for your average person, not having the tools you need is artificial difficulty. This is the truth. Another one was items. Items in the game, you eventually get to a merchant who sells unlimited items. He sells like normal merchants, you could go buy that item, you could buy it again, you could buy it again. Like you could buy throwables, grenades and stuff like that. Well, in the early part of the game, every vendor only has a certain amount, and once they sell out, they're sold out for the rest of the game. And the amount is 3. So if you go and buy this, and you screw up and die after you tried to use it, or you use it on the wrong enemy, that's it for the game. You don't get a chance again to buy anything until later. Again, that's bad artificial difficulty because you're limiting my resources until later in the game. And I told Zeno so he'd know. I'm like, hey, don't make my mistake. I was testing him out for fun. I'm like, hey, what does this do? Oh, that's cool. Go back to the shop. Oh, no, man. I'm like, I'm out. I'm out for the rest of the game. I don't tend
to use consumables.
Well, I wanted to see what they did, Plus, that's part of the build. Advance is the damage for thrown weapons. So, for most thrown weapons are based on advance. So it's like, I've got a bad build. Well, guess what? You can respec. When can you respec? Near the end of the game. So it's a good game, but it is one of the few games that I actually would say something that Zeno would condemn me for, but it's just the truth. You actually need to know before you do something. You can't try to find out on your own because it's permanent. Because it's permanent, though. It is literally permanent. Once you put points in the wrong attribute, you're done.
That's called bad game design, dude.
Yeah. I was trying to be nice. But it is permanent. If you put stuff in the wrong stat, you have to start over, or you have to suffer through the game until you get to dang near the end of the game. If you waste it on the wrong trait, you got to suffer till near the end of the game.
Because if I can pick a build
and screw yourself?
And screw myself, not because it's a bad build, but because the game blocks me from playing that build until I get past a certain point, then that's a flaw in the game.
That's why I said it's a good game, and if you go the right path, though the problem is there is a right path.
Yeah.
Because or just be amazing at the game. Don't get me wrong. Now, if you got the skills, you can play level 1 all the way through the game if you're a demon god player. But and this is for people who play games on the hardest setting. We play games like Souls, like we play them on the hardest setting, and even I'm saying the game punishes you. Mike, I feel he said I didn't sell him on the game. Well, Michael, I'm gonna be honest. You either need to look up a guide before you play it, or you better be damn good because you can screw up.
Well, we're also not here to sell the game. We're here
to give a review. Yeah. Now, is it a good Souls-like? It's incredible. And if you pick the right path, you will enjoy it. A lot of people started off going technique, which is the agility build. That's a good choice. You'll find a lot of weapons. The game supports it all the way through pretty good. Motivity supported pretty well. I found a lot of great motivity weapons. I found 2 for me, and I found them. Only one of them I found was when I needed it. That's just the truth. There's only 2 weapons for my build, and the rest and the thrown items are all sold out. So that's my experience with the game. Now, every game has bad calls you can make. I just hate they're permanent. That's my thing, is that I wish that they reset, or shops would eventually reset, or I could respec. Because if I could respec, I have all the weapons for the other builds. I found them. But I don't have the stats. So, great game, but there is traps built into it because of artificial difficulty.
Yeah, Michael says a good point in the chat room. He says a true game should allow you to make your own decisions and not get punished ruthlessly for it. And I think the key word there is ruthlessly. Because, making the wrong decisions, all right, maybe the game's not as easy for you or something like that. But, allowing for an elemental build and then put in the boss that is of that element.
And there's only one element available.
Yeah, that's ruthless.
It's even worse because that boss that's electrical is a puppet. Puppets are normally vulnerable to electricity. Yeah. So you put in a boss that's resistant to his weakness as well. And you're just like, it is the second boss. It's not deep in the game. I was just like, wow, okay, I don't know what to do here. So I won't lie. I'm also stubborn. Some of it's me. You can also summon a helper. I didn't want to do that. So I fought the boss like 8 times to kill it. But I'm stubborn and I killed it. And I will defend Wolong with this. While I said Wolong made me playing a mage all the way through hard, it was difficult, but it was doable. More of it was my stubbornness. I didn't want to change my spells. That's the truth. I didn't want to change my spells. I beat Dong Zhao with metal.
Yeah.
He's resistant to metal. But, in their defense, I could change my element at any time for free. I could go change the ice. Q's crazy.
Yeah.
So my experience
with
Wolong was me. I can't do that. Yeah. I was going, nah, man, I'm using metal on Dong Zhou. In this game, they go, oh, you got metal, sucker. That's the difference in that one problem. But the game's beautiful. It's fun. When you're not being ruthlessly punished, you have fun. But go technique. Let's just go technique. Go agility. Go technique or whatever it is. You'll have a lot more fun. And or you can try to go the path of Q. I'm pushing through because I'm stubborn. But at this point, I'm doing it just to clean my palette of Starfield, take a break.
Yeah.
And honestly, I'll probably go play Cyberpunk instead now that I know it's. I'll probably go download Cyberpunk. Probably go and start playing Cyberpunk as my palette cleanser. Or Remnant 2 again, because, man, that is fun on my solid state. Now that I fixed that, that game is beautiful when I put it on my solid state and turn the graphics up. But it's not a bad Souls-like. It's way better than the average. And comparing it to Wolong, it's prettier and more fun than Wolong was. But it's not as fair or balanced as Wolong. And there you go. There's a good one. If you played Wolong, they're both, and I'm saying that because they're both on Game Pass. Wolong will give you a more fair experience. But it isn't really, to me, as good a combat or as smooth or as pretty and beautiful a world as Lies of P. Lies of P, though, will punish you for the simple mistake of not knowing already. If you're not meta, you can get punished. That's just the truth. They'll punish you for not being meta. What you got, Bloodaxe? You smiling?
I'm talking with Flynn in the chat about throwing in things that are immune to what you got. I say kind of like throwing a bunch of rust monsters when someone's a construct. And he denied doing that.
He knows dang well that he made us fight so hard for that silver sheet that Rhett made a character with the spell just so we could get it. In his defense, It was the only way to stop me. I was a monster with my golem, my mithril golem character. But it was funny that one of the lowest level spells and magic bonuses in the game was oddly absent from everywhere. Hey, look, let me tell you something. I will defend Flynn on this. Flynn is a ruthless, bloodthirsty GM. But he's also a good one, and when you got him, he'll admit it. When we play a game, if you can get Flynn, he'll sit there and the NPCs will go, good job. But when that boy goes to forums, I want to punch him in the face. Because he goes to forums, he found some junk on some, he loved to go to forums and find some of those evil GM homebrews. In his evil days, look, he admitted it. Yeah. That was back in his evil days.
Speaking of evil, let's talk about Unity.
They're not evil, they apologize. No.
So we talked about Unity last week and their change, and so they did come out and in the way that companies do, I will say I will give Unity this: they were more straightforward about their apology than most companies I've seen. Right off the bat, he's like, I want to start this with, I am sorry.
Yeah, she said the words. Yeah. I know, I am sorry.
I am sorry. Then he says, we should have spoken with more of you, and we should have incorporated more of your feedback before announcing our new runtime fee policy. Our goal with this policy is to ensure we continue to support you today and tomorrow and keep deeply investing in our game engine. So basically, yes, it's still the same goal. We want money from you so that we can continue to,
they said they're changing the cap from 1,000 to 200,000.
Yes. So they changed the cap from 100 to 200,000, which means indie players will be less likely to get.
And Unity Personal will remain free. So they're meeting us in the middle. Now, that doesn't mean, well, I'll let you say that part you're talking about.
Now, they also said the runtime fee policy will only begin with the next LTS version of Unity. So there's none of the
backwards
stuff that scared a lot of people. So, I mean, they made some justifications, but they made them because they had to. And then this is, we were talking about the D&D OGL, and how...
lying,
they come out and they go, oh, yeah, we're going to make it better, but then they start inching closer and closer to see how far they can to the goal that they wanted. We've seen their intentions, and that's my worry about Unity.
Well, also them not admitting it.
Yeah, we've seen Unity's intentions.
Well, also they didn't admit it. They were like, "Oh no, y'all you're reading into that wrong." And it's like, man, you don't shut the flip up.
Yeah,
we know what you're trying to do. We were literate. I mean, lawyers went over the dang document.
Yeah,
I don't know why you would try
like
that
I said,
when there's
Unity.
lawyers.
Unity wasn't quite as bad to me as the OGL, but they're still like, maybe we should have listened. Yeah, we're still gonna do the charging and stuff, but we're gonna come back on it some. We're not gonna, don't worry. But to me, they still didn't answer a lot of the questions as how they're tracking stuff. What they're gonna do for their customers. It's like, oh, you're charging more. You're trying to increase the amount, but you really haven't shown me what my value is. They're all talking about what they're going to do, how they're going to increase this, how they want to invest into their engine. They want to continue to grow their engine. They want to expand, and that's why they want you to pay more. But what's that do for me as a Unity? And that's
you get to pay more.
Yeah. So it's still them. It's still me, and not the customer. And that's where I'm like, okay, yeah, you go, I'm sorry, all this stuff. But you already shown the bad side. You already shown that you didn't care about the customer the first time. So why am I believing that you're caring now?
Well, I think what they did to change them is that I don't think they were ever after the indie. They were after the mobile. Because, there's a lot of downloads for mobile games. So I think they changed the policy to go like, hey, guys, we weren't aiming at you. We're aiming at them. Because they still have enough in there that it will hit some of those new mobile games.
Mm-hmm. Now, they're after the one-hit wonders, dude. I'll be honest. It's when some company comes up with some tiny game that all of a sudden blows up, And Unity's over there going, we didn't get our piece of that pie.
Which they did, but like you said.
Well, they didn't get a big enough piece of the pie for them. And you see that happen occasionally. You see an indie game blow up. And
but still, compared to a mobile game, though, mobile games get more actual downloads.
Mobile is also where you see a lot of indie games blow up.
Because when it comes to numbers of downloads, like the number of games downloaded on phones, way more than consoles, man. Like, there's way more people that download the latest mobile, like you said, indie mobile game that can be done on a phone. They were going to make way more money off of phone downloads than they were off of console and PC downloads. And that's what I think they were aiming for. I watched a whole bunch of people going over this and saying they're aiming for the mobile market.
Yeah. Now. I mean, here. Everybody's apparently all the evil love the fireside chats. I don't know, man.
Yeah.
We'd like to invite you to join for a live fireside chat.
What is with this weird trend of these evil fireside chats where Uncle Evil sits down and goes, "Hi, you guys read me wrong. We're not after you." And I just believe that there's just subliminal messages flashing that we're not catching in the background. Obey. You know, like, I just feel like it's just subliminal messages are flashing behind that fireside chat. Somebody needs to go slow those down, play it backwards, find the Illuminati symbol in it, you know, like, because it's becoming a weird trend to have these fireside chats. Because back in the day, the fireside chats were pretty much propaganda. So naming your stuff a fireside chat, which was known as propaganda, is the big openly evil. Just like, come for the propaganda session, actually. Yeah, session is more accurate. So what do you think, Bloodaxe?
I haven't been paying attention to the whole Unity saga, but I will say that more companies should take a page out of their tactics and saying, "I'm sorry." There are several other businesses that have really floundered this year because of the lack of the ability to say, "I'm sorry." So I will give them props for that. But you're right. Anytime there's something that blows up and you don't have the ability to capitalize residually on that is discouraging, because, you know, that's the danger of doing flat rates. So I can definitely understand from a business perspective wanting to renegotiate some of that, but there's also risk involved where if you're if you don't have, you know, the blow ups, you actually may bring in less money depending on your contracts. But you know, just based on what I've heard here in the last couple of minutes, you know, that's kind of my stance on it. But I haven't really paid attention to Unity. I've seen some videos on YouTube, but I've been overwhelmed at work that I haven't had a chance to sit and watch them like I used to. The only thing that I've really been watching is about the whole Snow White saga, which is probably not a topic we're going to talk about today. Anyway.
No. But we are
Zegler news. Well, hold on before you segue.
Oh.
I know you're watching this segue, but that's not Snow White anyway. But no, but like, good point though, Bloodaxe, is that back in the day though, that was the point of business though. Back in the day, you had to choose: do you go for the flat fee or you go for the residual? You're supposed to choose. And I bring it up because you made a comment earlier, there was a different topic about wanting to have your cake and eat it too. This was Unity wanting to go, we want to get our flat money, and if you blow up, we also want the money. It's like, no, you used to have to make that gamble. You used to have to choose. Are they going to blow up? Am I going to go for the big money if they blow up? Or am I going to go for the flat fee in case they bomb? And wanting to have everything is greedy, because it's not fair to the developers, because they don't have a say-so. They're going to have to pay you if they win. They're going to have to pay you if they lose. Used to be you had to pick, right? That was a big part. Do I want a section of the residuals, or do I want to get paid flat?
Dude, I mean, that's why it's brilliantly evil. I will say that. Like, it's evil. It's brilliantly evil. It's the way it is the cake, and eat
it too,
and eat it too, because it's like, oh, well, here's the flat, but if you go over this, we charge you. It was back. Remember when everybody said cell phone companies were super evil, and you hadn't really heard a lot about that anymore because they all just went unlimited plans, and you don't have to track everything. But they used to have the cake and eat it too. Oh, well, here you can have this many minutes. You go over,
We're also going to charge you.
You know. And it was, dude, people were racking up $10,000 phone bills because they ended up going over their limit for either data, text, or talk.
Especially because at first you didn't have a good way to track your dang minutes.
Yeah.
And back in the day, you didn't even have a way to really know where you were at without literally calling the company.
So this method has always been one that people look at and hate, whether it been phone companies, internet providers, or whatever. When you say, well, we're going to give you this much. Oh, well, if you go over, and there's no real big warning either. If you go over, there's no way you can stop people from buying your game or installing your game if you go over. You're just fucked.
Yeah, you can't stop at the line unless you pull it. You know, like you have to pull it. And that's what's BS is because, like you said, that's not available to normal businesses. That's only available when you have a monopoly or you have control enough to abuse it. Me or you couldn't walk up to somebody and go like, you're going to pay me a full flat fee. And then you got to pay me also. They're going to look at you and go like, or I'll go to someone else. But Unity is the small indie game engine for most people. Because if you don't use it, you got to use something worse or make your own, which is very difficult. Yeah. So they're abusing their monopoly. And there used to be a time that we stopped monopolies. I don't know what's changed since when I was younger, when they went and broke up Bell South and all that. They used to break up monopolies.
There's other options out there, but it also means you may not be able to do the problem is each engine has its own forte, you know, and this has a big indie forte, you know, those style of games. And so if you want to make the style of game, you normally go with this engine. If you want to make some other style of game, maybe you go with the Unreal Engine. If you want to make, you know, a big open world game.
How did you know I was going to say? I think the next one to try to scrap is going to be Unreal. I expect something out of Unreal in the future.
Unreal's using their engine a different way. They're trying to make you exclusive to their platform.
By offering a lot of discounts and benefits if you do that. But that's still optional. They're not punishing you. They're offering benefits. Unity is hitting you for using their engine and offering nothing. Like you just said, what do I get out of it? As much as I hate Epic, at least Epic's going, we won't charge you this. We'll give you a discount. Unity's just going, pay us, sucker. What do we get back in it? You get to use Unity. That's it, punk. You know, they're pulling that Blizzard approach.
So the thing is, too, if I've been making games, let's say I've made a set of games and people have been coming to my games for a while, my indie games for a while, and I've been using the Unity engine all along, if I make a drastic shift to another engine, you might lose your fan base.
Gears 4, Halo 4. I stopped playing Halo for a long time and Gears. I only went back because my boy Bloodaxe vouched for Gears 5. He remembers because back then I wouldn't play it. They switched engines, and I can feel it. It's very much noticeable for a regular or even a very invested gamer like me. I can feel it, and I didn't like it. And it literally caused me to skip games. I bought every Gears up to 3. I have Gears 5 because it's on Game Pass, and my boy plays it. But, like, I left the whole Gears franchise because of the engine change. Same thing for Halo. You know why I played Halo Infinite? It came out on Game Pass. I wasn't going to buy it. I don't like the way it feels after it stopped being done by Bungie. So, no, it can kill. You're 100%. Good call. Like, it will kill your game sometimes to switch the engine. It is a game killer for a lot of people. So, Unity has them over a barrel. And at least, but at least they didn't go full like other companies. They rolled it back a bit. So, it's a shame when you got to give the good job on being slightly less evil award, but at least they get the good job on being slightly less evil award.
At least I said I'm sorry.
Yes. And they don't have a Cosby room.
All right, guys. Last up, our only topic that is not game related is Aquaman 2 rumored to have brutal scene that caused walkout. So basically, if you don't want some supposed spoilers, rumored spoilers, then you might want to go ahead and wave goodbye at this point. Thanks for watching. But if you're okay, it's Aquaman 2. Come on, none of y'all are going to watch it anyway.
Well, also, you got an idea probably already what we're talking about. If you are an Aquaman fan, first, I'm so sorry. And two, Not the Momoa, just in general. Because, no, I mean Aquaman fan from back when the comic, when he wore orange and green.
Yeah.
Because this is way back now. In the
Well,
original
also,
comic book,
it may not be a spoiler because since this was in they could change things.
Oh, yeah, it's true. It may not be a spoiler because they could change it because they've been refilming. Basically, in the original comic book, the reason that Black Manta and Aquaman were such horrible enemies is that Black Manta killed Aquaman's son. Now, when he did it, his son was like this tall, was like probably 8, 9, 10, somewhere in there. But there are rumors that in this one, he kills Aquaman's son too, except that Aquaman's kid's a baby. And I have to admit, killing a baby in a movie is always upsetting. Killing a baby in a friggin' superhero movie would definitely be a moment that I wouldn't be invested in the movie either. I would be like, whoa, okay. It's going to be hard for me to stay invested in such a dark scene. Well, rumors are it was in the pre-screenings and that people left. And I don't know what's this. Okay, that's all right. That's getting into a whole other thing. There seems to be a callousness that has arisen lately these days about children that seems to be making its way into the cinema because killing a baby in a movie is taboo, even in a horror movie, dude.
I'm going to be honest with you here now. I'm going to disagree with you, and I'm actually, here's my thing. All right, I'm surprised you're tiptoeing around so much. So anyway, in the scene, apparently a baby gets killed, and it's the child of
Mira and Aquaman. And so apparently a bunch of people walked out. I mean, dude, it's a movie. Horrific things happen all the time. Babies die. Maybe I'm a little bit more callous than you. I don't see the big problem. No, that's what I was tiptoeing around.
I understand. Yeah, it sucks the baby dies, in the movie, but I've seen other movies where babies have been killed.
Flynn, right? Yeah, those movies don't tend to do well. Alien vs. Predator 2 was bombed, and a lot of people said it was the nursery scene. And where he killed what he did to the pregnant women, and what also an implication he killed all the babies in the nursery. That scene bombed that whole frigging movie. Like, killing a baby usually, and that was a horror movie, and it was an inhuman monster. But having a character murder a baby in a superhero DC movie is a very bad call 9 times out of 10.
To me, I think it depends on how they display it. Because, I mean, didn't like a bunch of kids die in Star Wars, like in the Jedi?
Yes.
So, I mean, kids die, babies die.
The prequels didn't do that well.
But it wasn't because of that scene. But they also didn't directly show it. And that's what I'm curious, on I guess, that level of...
Also, those weren't babies.
They weren't babies. But they were kids.
There's a difference between kids and babies. I'm going to be honest. Like, there's a big difference between an 8, 9-year-old and an infant. People take it differently. They really do. I mean, those kids had lightsabers, man. At least they had lightsabers. I'm not saying it's okay. I'm just saying there's a big difference between trying to kill a kid who has the force and a lightsaber and killing an infant. But also, lately, oh, wait.
Go ahead.
I thought somebody was mentioning something from a movie. But the thing is that I get what you're saying in different types of movies. I don't think Aquaman 2 was the place to do it. That's the thing. Because who's going to go see an Aquaman movie, a DC movie? You're going to bring your kids. We're adults. At least we were we went to go see Alien vs. Predator. We expected some deaths. I don't expect a kid to die in a frigging, not blatantly, in a superhero movie. I don't. Okay, well, not an Aquaman. I'd expect that for something dark. I'd expect that from, where we're following Slade or a villain arc. Maybe in Suicide Squad, but I wouldn't expect that in Aquaman 2. I would not. It's a very unexpected dark, if it happened, and if it's still in the movie, that is a very dark scene. I'm not saying they shouldn't have done it. I'm saying I understand why some people walk out. Because, see, me and you and Bloodaxe are jaded. We're also familiar. We know it's canonical from the comic book. But little Ms. Williams and her 2 kids that are like, I want to see the superhero movie with Aquaman. Oh, okay, let's go see it. Oh, crap. No, you're not expecting that, man. not everybody that goes to superhero movies now is A, a very well-versed in the lore person, or B, a jaded middle-aged person. Like, some of these are kids, moms of their kids, dads of their kids. Like, my kids would be shocked that happened. They wouldn't freak out only the movie, but it would be like, Dad, did they kill a baby? And I'd be like, it was in a comic book. They'd be like, it was in a comic book? And I'd be like, DC used to be screwed up, man. That's all I can say. Batman used to shoot people with a gun. That's all I mean, you go way back. But I get it. If it's in there, it was a bad call. That's all I'm saying. It was a bad call.
I'm honestly, I don't see it as being as big of a deal, I think, as you. Because
I don't consider it a big deal. I just say I understand what people left.
I think tragedy in movies and that being able to hit you is actually a good point. Okay, then
let's do a different angle. Let's go with the Xeno angle. Well, then people walking out means they did not do it well.
Well, no, I agree with that.
That means they did not succeed at their goal. It's a risky thing. It's like a R scene. I'm not going to say the word how YouTube gets. An R scene is very upsetting.
Yeah.
When you decide to put that in your movie, you better make this all make sense and land, or it will sink your movie. Our scenes are upsetting. They're upsetting to me. I don't like seeing them. I don't even like the implication. I think it changes the whole tone of the movie. But I have seen some movies just barely pull it off to where you're like, I guess that's part of the story. And I have seen it done, but it's a gamble. It's a big gamble. It's like when you have a racist calling people the hard N-word. You better land that movie, man, or you're in trouble. It ain't. You better pull a Django and it works, because if you fail that, your movie's done. Like, what did he say? You know, next thing you know, they calling everybody, the director, racist. It's a risky thing to do. Yeah. And let's be honest, the DC movies ain't been nearly good enough to be doing that.
I get that. I mean, Leonardo saying the N-word. Yeah, it's like
they flipped the coin, man.
It's like, oh man, that could win you or lose you. You know.
I like the way one comedian was talking about it. He said, man, he had to say that in front of Samuel L. Jackson. That had to be scary as heck. Samuel just looking at him. I was like, whew. I bet he was sweating every day. It was worse. They said he had to reshoot the scene a few times. And they were just like, oh, I got to do it again. Yeah. But that's the thing. You got to land it. It's an all or nothing. If they try to, plus, none of the DC movies, you know what? If you were going to do a DC movie with something as controversial as a child dying, it should have been the Joaquin Phoenix Joker, which was dark. It was that tone. Plus, it was a well-done movie with a great actor who, all the tragedy, because it was just a chain of tragedies. That movie was a chain of tragedies.
I will give you this. It may be too dark for Aquaman 2.
Yeah. I like Momoa, but I don't think he can pull that off, man, to save the movie after that.
But
not to mention that other person.
Just the way the way you were saying it at first, it was like, why are you so like you're like so against the fact that a baby died in a movie? And I'm like, we've seen several movies where babies have died. But you're right. With your analogy of using the N-word and the R, if it isn't done well and it isn't vital to the story and portrayed correctly, it is a delicate subject. I'll give you that.
Yeah, you need to have the gravitas to pull it off. Nobody wants to see this in a dumb movie where a dude talks to fishes. Like I said, now, could they have pulled it off? Maybe, but I don't think with the cast and director they had. I just don't think they had the talent. Yeah. They needed it way better. Like I said, if this had happened in the Joaquin Phoenix Joker, I think they could have pulled it off. A child death would have just added to the dark tragedy of the tone and shock value of the movie. You don't expect that in Aquaman 2. So there you go.
But it's apparently going to be a holiday release as well. So
so there you go. I think that they played with fire and they got burnt. But you know what's cool? They'll probably pull it. There's rumors already they pulled some scenes. I'm not going to talk about you-know-who, because the cool part about this is, for once, people are mad at Aquaman 2, and it ain't got nothing to do with a certain person. That's that's amazing.
That's a first.
I know.
All right, guys, we're going to wrap up there. Thanks for watching. Be sure to check out Dicejunkies.com where you find links everywhere we are online, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, Facebook, all that good stuff. Be sure to go to YouTube and hit that notification bell, subscribe, so you can get notifications whenever we post something online. Thanks for watching, guys, and it's every week.
We hope you enjoy.